ஸோ many would have heard about PCOS. தமிழில் சொல்லணும்னா PCOSனால் நீர்க்கட்டி அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேர் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க. அப்படின்னா என்ன அப்படின்னா, ஸோ PCOSன்னு எங்கள் மெடிக்கல் டேர்மில் சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ PCOSனால் என்ன அப்படின்னா பாலிசிஸ்டிக் ஓவேரியன் டிசீஸ். அதாவது அது சிண்ட்ரோம்னு கூட சொல்லலாம். ஏன் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்கன்னா, அது கலெக்டிவாக ஒரு நிறைய தொந்தரவுகளோடு சேர்ந்தது தான் அந்த பாலிசிஸ்டிக் ஓவேரியன் டிசீஸ், அதாவது நீர்க்கட்டி அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரியும். அதில் உங்களுக்கு நிறைய சந்தேகங்கள் இருக்கும். என்ன எந்த மாதிரி இருக்குது, ஏன் எனக்கு, ஸோ என்னென்ன தொந்தரவுகள் இருக்கும், ஏன் எனக்கு மட்டும்தான் இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும், அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய சந்தேகங்கள் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கும். ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கிறப்போ முதல்ல சந்தேகம் அப்படின்றப்போ இது யாருக்கெல்லாம் வரலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா, ஓகே இது யாருக்கெல்லாம் வரலாம். ஸோ நான் இப்போ இங்கிலீஷில் சொல்கிறேன். ஸோ PCOSங்கிறது PCOS. What is PCOS? PCOS is a variety of syndromes or a variety of symptoms where the patient gets affected more mentally and physically due to inability to conceive, and also in terms of irregular menstrual cycle and having increased gain in weight. All other symptoms will add up. So who gets affects mainly due to this PCOS or PCOD? So which age group? So age group, when we consider, it is mostly during the age group of 18 to 45 years. They are most affected, and in our population, among the reproductive age group, approximately 60 to 15% of people are affected by PCOS. And in this PCOS, what we are seeing is, in that 6 to 15% of PCOS will have infertility problems. In that among that 16 to 15%, so approximately 70% of people will have difficulty in conceiving. That is, when we will say difficulty in conceiving, only after 1 year of married life. 1 year of married life and trying successfully without any contraceptive measures, then we'll tell them that they are not able to conceive following 1 year of unprotected intercourse. So when should you go and see? Or if so, you might have heard this diagnosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOD, before your marriage also sometimes. So what will you do? Will you be worried? So don't be worried. There is always solution. That is why we are there. We are coming under reproductive medicine. Reproductive medicine is then how we study everything relative only to reproduction, so that we can help you guys via treatment, or also some help might be needed in case of PCOS. So why it is there? What happens? Because in PCOS there will be problem in ovulation. So many might not know what is ovulation. So ovulation is every fan off. In every cycle, during the female cycle, like each month, the female is supposed to get one cycle of periods during that. But in case of PCOS, the periods is very, very irregular. Why it happens? Because it's purely due to hormones. And why PCOS is occurring to me? Why it is happening? Why it has caused irregular menses? Why PCOS is having irregular cycles and all? It is due to irregular cycles are due to hormone imbalance. So hormone imbalance is like an interconnected thing. So when you have hormone imbalance, there will be difficulty in ovulation. Ovulation is monthly. The women will be producing one egg released from the ovary that will get fertilized if the patient is okay. That will get fertilized if the patient is married and ready for fertilization. So what happens in PCOS? So in PCOS, there will be problem in releasing of egg, growing of the follicle, and there will be problem in releasing of egg. So there might not be conception. That is why they will have difficulty in conceiving. If the patient having irregular menstrual cycle, doesn't mean the patient cannot conceive. Don't have that belief. They can conceive, and there are good amount of chance they can have a healthy baby. just they need some help in the way of lifestyle modification and some medications to control the hormones. So, and some PCOS will have some changes like they have excess facial hair growth and they might have to trim often, so that some might have occurred. Why it is happening? Again, due to hormones. What happens is, in this situation, there will be some amount of raise in the male hormones that we call it as androgens. So that will be raised in some cases. So because of that, the excess facial hair growth may be seen, and you can have hair in the chest also, or also in the abdomen, or also in the thighs, also in the hands, anywhere it can come. So, and also some people will have a dark patch around the neck, at the back of the neck, or at the armpits, or in between the thighs. Those kind of dark patches can also come. That also is due to this excess androgen production. So this happens because also this situation, that PCOS will have imbalance in everything, from the female sex hormone towards the male sex hormone. They should not be having imbalance. If there is imbalance, everything leads to an ovulation. An ovulation is since the patient will not have any ovulation, and thereby they can have irregular menses, and they can have increase in weight gain, and anything related to conception, they can have problem. And also the polycystic ovarian syndrome females can also have early pregnancy loss because of their hormone imbalance, because the hormone imbalance has impact on everything, in ovaries, in the end uterus, and also in the cervical mucus. All those things will lead to infertility. So next thing, what is so in case if you have got diagnosed before your marriage, supposed to have diagnosed as PCOS before marriage, then what you should do? Don't panic. At least if you are not getting menses every 3 months once, then you go and seek for medication to get your periods every 3 months once, because it is very important to get your periods every 3 months once, because if you are not getting prolonged menses, or if the hormones keep in imbalance state, and there are prone for risk of uterine cancers, that is endometrial cancers can happen, but it's a long term risk again, and you should be worried. If it is very prolonged, then you should get evaluated even before marriage. Don't get upset or don't get stressed that if you got diagnosed before marriage to be PCOS. And all myths should be broken down, that if you are diagnosed as PCOS doesn't mean you cannot conceive after marriage. You can conceive after marriage. So have hope and keep following as your doctor's advice. And main thing is, there is some relation with the obesity and the polycystic ovarian syndrome. So what is this is, because of polycystic ovarian syndrome, there will be insulin resistance, and also obesity is one more added factor for this insulin resistance, and thereby which also increases the ovarian androgens, that is ovarian male hormone production. That also leads, everything finally leads to an ovulation. Again, they will not have ovulation at all. So that is the other reason that it can worsen the situation of PCOS. Even in PCOS, you may be wondering, I have been diagnosed as PCOS, but you may have getting periods regularly. Because there are different types of PCOS. We classify them as phenotypes, phenotype A, B, C, D. So accordingly, we classify you in that. Accordingly, we classify you, and in that we can see that you are which type of phenotype PCOS, and we can treat it. It is very easy. But coming to the diagnosis of PCOS, it is very challenging because it has changed a lot from the beginning, and many follow a certain criteria that we call from our medical term, that is Rotterdam's criteria. That is the commonest method for diagnosing the PCOS. In that also some modification has come regarding recently with a good ultrasound machine of 8 Hz and one in each ovary, that at least there should be at least 20 antral follicle count. Antral follicle count is what we see in your ultrasound in the ovaries. That is how many number of eggs you have in each ovary. That count is called antral follicle count. So with that we can diagnose the PCOS. But with the recent advancement in the technology, so the machine also get advanced. So with that the criteria also has changed a bit. But don't worry, if you have got diagnosed, it is not a panic situation. You can still go through this. Why it is occurring to you? That is a very good question. Why it is occurring? Because there is no particular reason to say that it can occur to you. But when we are seeing people, for example, if I am seeing 10 patients in my OPD, in that 6 patients are PCOS. That much common it is. So so what happens? So in that, if you are having diagnosed as PCOS, then you should say, no, I can conceive. You can boldly say, if somebody says, oh, you are having the situation, don't be worried, you can conceive. You can conceive. So that is another thing. And if and some might be wondering, some might be wondering that why you haven't given metformin for you. Metformin is some drug which is taken for diabetes also, and you can be wondering that maybe in your homes your father-in-law or mother-in-law might be diabetic and they might be taking the same tablet what you have been prescribed for yourself when you have diagnosed to PCOS. That in that situation you might be wondering why that is given to me, why I am having this. So don't panic. So metformin has its different action. In kind of PCOS, what it helps is, it also helps in reducing the male sex hormones and also increases the metabolism, so thereby reduces the insulin sensitivity, resistance. Thereby it increases the glucose metabolism. So it is very helpful in one way or other. So when you are being prescribed for fertility treatment, it helps in the ovulation by giving support to the oocyte maturation. Oocyte is the one with what we term, oocyte is the medical term what we use for egg, which is getting released each month in the female ovary. So that is what I am meaning. And commonest symptoms of PCOS that I have already told you, that is infrequent or irregular menses. Some may have amenorrhea also, and some may have amenorrhea also. And added obesity may be there. So these are few symptoms we can see commonly in our OPD basis. So apart from that, some might be having an infertility problem, some might be having diabetes symptoms. So that are all early signs that you can have. But as such, in PCOS itself, there are some long-term complications, like if you are having obesity and already you are having insulinemia, hyperinsulinemia. So in that case, in long term, you can become a diabetic. You can become a diabetic in long term, and also there is risk factor for heart disease because of these hormone imbalance, and also there is added obesity which worsens all those things. And so so why you are getting it? That is one more question. Why you are getting it? There is no reason. Some might say it is environmental cause, and some might say it is due to genetics. Genetics is what we say, it is most common if you are having a first degree relatives diagnosed with PCOS. So then you might get the PCOS. And also environmental factors, we say there are many pollutants nowadays. And one more thing is our lifestyle changes. Our lifestyle have changed a lot from what our ancestors and what our great grandmas were practicing. Now everything is changed. We have become like an easy living people, so everything changed. So because of that, we are like slowly going towards sedentary lifestyle. And that is not okay. We have to make ourselves very energetic and active. That is not enough. So in that case, it is one more added cause. That is what the theory says, though there is no exact cause why it is happening, but these are two causes that so far it is understood in a theory. So one question has come. My wife is 13 weeks pregnant and she has urinary infection, stomach pain. Okay, this I'll tell you about at the end of the session. Yashwant Madhu, definitely I'll get back to you. Okay, now I'm speaking only about PCOS. This situation I'll talk to you later. Okay, then what else? Okay, when you are diagnosed as PCOS and you are unable to conceive, then what you do? So after 1 year of infertility, as a couple, you should get evaluated. So that is first dictum. You should not get only the female partner. No, both male and the female partner should be get evaluated after completing 1 year of married life. Even if you are trying, so and then you are not conceiving, then don't hesitate. You can always approach, because if you are having irregular menses and amenorrhea in the sense you are not getting bleeding at all, then you can come irrespective of that 1 year, get evaluated. Then you can go for we can decide whether fertility treatment when to be started, whether we can wait and start or we have to start right away. That we can decide only when you visit for the consultation, not before that. Okay, when you are visiting for consultation, what are the things you will be asking? Most common questions what I will be asking is when I will get conceived. So this is a common question what we are asked, what you people will be asking. So that is the answer is you will get a baby, you will be conceiving, but it will take time. It is not just like if you are coming when one visit and straight away you can conceive in the next cycle. No, it doesn't work like that. For PCOS, it is always a stepwise evaluation, and it takes long time to complete the evaluation and get you conceived. If you conceive, definitely it makes everybody happy, including us. So it is what. So that is what I want to say. Stress about this. So it is not a one-step solution. It is a stepwise evaluation. So next thing is when you are diagnosed as infertility. So as I said, you should be as a couple you should get evaluated. So what you will be doing? So for female, first we will do it is an ultrasound, detailed transvaginal ultrasound that we will do. So in transvaginal ultrasound is a scan. That's what I am saying, that we will be doing via vaginal route. Okay. So in transvaginal scan, what we'll be seeing is first we'll be seeing your uterus, and we'll be seeing your ovaries. That is the female internal reproductive organs. That's what we'll be studying in the ultrasound. So then we make the diagnosis whether you are PCOS or non-PCOS. Then otherwise, any other pathology you have along with the PCOS, whether you have fibroid, whether you are adenomyosis, whether you have endometriosis, apart from that, we'll be seeing both those things. All those things. Then after that, we will evaluate you by biochemical, because biochemical in the sense we'll be taking blood samples. By that we'll be evaluating your sugars, because PCOS people will have a high risk of being diabetic even in the younger age, so we should not leave them just like that. And we'll be evaluating the blood sugars, and we'll be doing HbA1c. Then following that, if anything required, if there is excess facial hair, if there is, we suspect hirsutism, that is what we say. So in that time we'll do an extra hormones like testosterone, and sometimes we'll do FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. These are the hormones which are all required to have a growing follicle to mature and get ruptured. Thereby you can have a good egg which is getting released, and thereby it can go for a fertilization. That's what our aim will be in whole treatment of PCOS. So one has asked, is natural conception possible? It is possible. It is but you might have to take some steps before that. For example, for lifestyle modification, that's what you might have heard many things about this lifestyle modification. You can Google it also. What is lifestyle modification? Why it is important in PCOS? Because as I said, we are all moving towards sedentary lifestyle. We don't know that we are moving slowly, but we are moving. That is the reality. And what happens is, because of that, our effort, everything has come down. So lifestyle modification will help you in ways of reducing your stress, reducing your weight. If you are losing 10% of your weight, that improves your ovulation, that can augment your ovulation, and you can have spontaneous ovulation. Thereby you can have spontaneous conception. And also, if you are reducing your weight, that will also help to act your fertility drug, and thereby you can have a good amount of chance of conception when you are taking a treatment. And what is the other thing is diet. What is diet useful? How diet is useful in PCOS? Many would have heard this thing. Keep following diet. Don't gain weight. Keep following diet. What is the diet doing in PCOS? Diet, in the sense, we are eating 3 meals a day. That is very normal. But we will be calculating something like BMI, body mass index. For that we should be in the normal BMI, but almost 80% of the Asian people is always overweight or obese. That is what is our reality. That is why we have become the capital of diabetes. And the same thing, so in this lifestyle modification, what we are doing is, diet is the one thing which helps to make you have a natural conception in this PCOS. So diet, in the sense, you have to have low carb diet or low calorie diet. That is very, very important. And low carb diet, in the sense, you first cut down all the sugar compounds what you are taking in your food. That itself will make a very good response, and in your body weight is, you yourself will feel some confidence. But it's not just like you are trying for 1 week or 2 weeks. It has to be constant for a minimum 3 weeks to 6 months. Minimum 3 months to 6 months. It has to be constant when you are trying such things. It is, as I know, it is not very easy to cut down sugars. And sugars, in the sense, not only like adding sugar in coffee or tea. That is not I meant sugars, exactly that sugars. And then also carbohydrates, that is what we are eating as a staple food, that is rice. Many will be wondering, no, I stopped eating rice because it has more calories, more carbohydrates, and I'm eating chapati. That doesn't mean that the chapati doesn't have carbohydrates. That also has equal amount of carbohydrate. So if you are eating one bowl of rice, and if you are eating 3 chapatis with dal, that almost comes equal. So that doesn't mean that you are cutting down the calorie or cutting down the carbs. You have to do something else. You have to eat fibers. You have to eat lentils, all those things. Fibers is very, very essential. That also cut down your carbs and also have a good amount of calories that will be needed for being energetic. And also there is something called brisk walking for 40 minutes. That is 5 days a week. 40 minutes brisk walking 5 days a week. You follow that for minimum 6 months, and you may see along with the diet, you may see 2 to 3 kgs of weight loss. That is very, very important. And if you are women working and you have difficulty in approaching any gym like thing, You can nowadays, because of the COVID situation, many have started online classes. Please join that. Don't hesitate to spend for such things. Because it will give a beautiful change and confidence in your life. Later on, you yourself will feel very confident, and also at the same time, you will have it also boosts up in the spontaneous conception also. So it is very important one thing. And I have one question. I'll read that question. 25 today's I'm married for 2 to 3 years with irregular menses with obesity, diagnosed to have PCOS. How will you approach? Okay, first I'll counsel the patient. This is nothing to worry, no need to panic. Then I'll evaluate the male patient. Male partner semen analysis also to be simultaneously evaluated, because for infertility it is 50-50% of male and female factor. So both have to be evaluated simultaneously. And then I'll evaluate, since it is 2 to 3 years of married life, then I'll evaluate her tubal factor, because for a normal conception to happen, the uterus will have 2 tubes on the sides along with the close to the ovary that should be open to have a spontaneous conception. So I'll evaluate the tubes whether it is open or not. For that I'll do an hysterosalpingogram. Then apart from that, I'll add a factor of lifestyle modification. Then if there is any hyperandrogenism, features like excess facial hair or blood investigation showing increased testosterone or something, then I'll add her on metformin. Then I'll go for fertility management whereby oral ovulations first step. That will be my approach for that patient. Yes, somebody has asked me with Monisha Vignesh. So if the stress will increase the risk of infertility, definitely yes. Definitely stress is one added factor that it can lead to infertility, because as a married couple you might be having so much of society pressure and family pressure, lots will be going on, and unfortunately, or you will be hearing some news like one neighbor would have conceived at the same time, then you will be worried that I am not conceiving, why we are not conceiving, what is wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. You have to believe that first. You have to believe that strongly. There is nothing wrong with you. Some people will take time to conceive. That doesn't mean they won't be able to conceive. They will be able to conceive, and getting treatment and getting conceived is not an insulting or a very shameful thing. You can proudly say that I have taken treatment. What's wrong in that? I am happy now, I have a baby. You should proudly say that, because like you, if you come out and open your mouth and say that I have taken treatment and I have a healthy baby, many will see you and come out and talk to us, and we can help at the early age, because the more you prolong, more worsening things will happen and more time will take when you prolong by age wise, I'm saying. So it is very if you're stressful, don't hesitate. You can come and approach our department anytime you want. We will be happy to help you in any help in any way we can do that. So one more question has come. What will be the proper treatment of PCOS? So there is not like a protocol. It is like a individualized treatment. It is depending on the symptom how we treat. So if you are having irregular menses, we'll evaluate you why you are having irregular menses, because there are many causes for irregular menses. Like thyroid problem also can cause irregular menses, and obesity per se can cause irregular menses. So there are many reasons why we are having irregular menses. And other thing is in diabetes is one like added factor. If you are having PCOS, diabetes can come along. If you are having diabetes, it doesn't mean that if you are having diabetes you can get PCOS, but PCOS can turn into diabetic. That way it can come. So it is like what presentation you are coming, which severity you are falling under. So in that way the treatment protocol will come. So always I will see male partner also together, then only we will start evaluating for the infertility. So One more thing, I have got a question. It is an interesting question. Any surgery, any cure is there for PCOS? Many have been asking me this. So there is no permanent cure. That is the truth. There is no permanent cure for PCOS. Always PCOS is managed symptomatically, and symptomatically in the sense what presentation you are coming with that will put you under that criteria and start the treatment. And surgery, there are some surgeries you might have heard for PCOS to reducing the severity, like laparoscopic ovarian drilling. That is what we say. But as such, when there is no particular ovarian surgery to reduce or cure the PCOS. So laparoscopic ovarian drilling you might have heard, that is done laparoscopically. That sometimes that is also a controversial thing. Some will follow that, some techniques, some clinicians won't follow that. In what way it helps is it reduces the ovarian stroma thickness, that is the ovarian tissue. Ovary is the one where the eggs will be released monthly, no? So in that tissue thickness will be reduced with that current. So what it happens is, by reducing that, the hormones imbalance what we are having, that might come down. So thereby you can have an augmented ovulation. That is one theory behind that, but it's not proven. But it still works in some patients. So we are doing that currently. And okay, one more questions I have from Venkatesh. Okay, my wife have regular periods even though she still can't be able to get pregnant. She doesn't have PCOS also. Okay, if your wife is having regular periods, have you got evaluated, sir? So if you got evaluated, please send me that report also. And if you both are normal, I will do a tubal evaluation test by doing a hysterosalpingogram. That is why we will be pushing a dye inside your wife's uterus. Thereby we can study by passing an X-ray, and you can get that X-ray whether the tube is open or not. That we can see in that X-ray. That will be my first step. Even some cases of PCOS, there are chances that they will be having regular menses. That is one variety of PCOS, but they will not be diagnosed by history. They might need an ultrasound to diagnose them as polycystic ovarian syndrome. That will be different scenario. So I hope I have answered your question, Venkatesh. Okay. Then what else here we can discuss? Okay. So if you are known case of PCOS and you are married and you have taken multiple cycles of treatment, you have multiple cycles of treatment, like taking an clomiphene citrate or any fertility drugs, and still you are not conceiving, then you should go a detailed evaluation. Don't wait. Then somebody has asked me what does mean by follicular study. Okay, very good question. Follicular study is the thing, as I told you before, every month a female will be producing one egg which is released from the ovaries. That will be a stepwise thing. So if to monitor, that is happening naturally, but in current terms, by giving fertility drugs, by giving ovulation drugs to induce ovulation by medicine. So in that case, we have to know whether the follicle is growing according to the dose what we have prescribed. So that is why we'll do a transvaginal ultrasound. That is a scan ultra scan we'll do to record the follicle growth. That is what is follicular study. So follicular study will start from the but approximately from day, actually we have to do from day 2 of the menses to rule out there is no cyst, and we have to know how many antral follicle count, how many eggs we are able to see in each ovary. That we will see on the day 2 of her menses. If she is not getting regular menses, that is not needed. We can do any day of cycle, we can start, and there is no cyst, no fluid filled cyst in the ovary, then we can go ahead with the ovulation drug. I'm sorry. Then we can go ahead with the ovulation drug, and we can stepwise follow alternate day or every other day. You might require scan, and when the follicle matures at least approximately 16 to 18 mm size, we'll say, then we can give, or in case of sometimes we will give under 20 mm size, we'll give an injection HCG to make the follicle mature and get ruptured. So that is what we'll be doing in a follicular study. So HCG injection will stop PCOD? No. HCG injection is just an injection which is given to make the follicle mature, and once it is mature, it get ruptured by 24 to 36 hours. It will get ruptured. That is the mechanism for giving HCG in case of patient undergoing follicular study. For that we are seeing and giving. That is one use why we got an transvaginal ultrasound. By follicular study, we are following the growth of the follicle, and once it is mature, then we will give a HCG injection, then which also acts as a support once you get conceived. So it is like supporting the pregnancy. It also acts in that way. So one more question I have got, like, when do you suggest IVF, IUI or IVF in PCOD? So IUI in the sense when the patient has tried with the oral ovulation and not conceived for at least for 6 cycles of oral ovulation, then I'll go ahead with an IUI. Added advantage is IUI is what we do in IUI is we'll get the semen sample via masturbation, via ejaculation. Then we'll process the semen sample. The purified semen sample will be put into the uterus of the female. Then provided both the tubes are open, both the tubes are patent, then we'll do an IUI. That is IUI. That increases the chance of conception 15 to 20%, but provided the patient should be in proper follow-up, and what the medicines has been described, that also has to be taken. And if and also the other things which I have told, lifestyle modification, that also comes into factor. Whatever treatment we do, whether it's IVF or it's IUI, anything that also comes in treatment, so that also has to be followed simultaneously. So all these things will augment the treatment and also gives a good result. Finally, it will be happy for from your end also and my end also. So that is why. And IVF, when we'll do is, if you have tried more than 6 cycles of IUI, still you have not conceived, then we'll go for IVF. IVF in the sense, it is otherwise called commonly said as test tube baby. It is also an assisted reproduction technique where we'll take where the female partner will be given drugs to grow more follicles at the same time, multiple follicles at the same time, and once it is matured, we'll aspirate all the follicles via via needle. Then the semen will be collected from male partner, and the sperms will be used. One single sperm will be used from the for each egg, one sperm will be used. So in case of IVF, it is different. There's something called ICSI. It is what I said is ICSI. IVF is one egg will be put in a small IVF is one egg will be put in a small plate, and where 50,000 sperms will be put in the same well, so that it goes for spontaneous fertilization. That is IVF. The ICSI is different. You will select the sperm individually, and under microscope will be injecting the sperm into the egg. That is called ICSI. ICSI. That is ICSI. That is another method. So that is what nowadays everybody moved to ICSI. Very less people who are doing IVF nowadays. ICSI is better to prevent the fertilization failure. So one more thing, PCOD is curable? No, there is no permanent cure. Only there is a symptomatic management. When you have problem, depending on the things, depending on the problem, we will be telling you a solution. And don't take it lightly also, because treatment is required in case of PCOS, because you have to be in follow-up. So that is why I am saying, and it's not a panic situation, don't take me wrong that way. You can conceive, and you are having the equal chance of conception as a normal couple, so don't hesitate to get treatment. If you are not getting periods more than 3 months, then what is the treatment? That way you can take an progesterone tablet that will be prescribed by a practitioner. You can take, and you can wait for a withdrawal bleeding to come. If you're not getting withdrawal, then you have to rule out many cases. Many differential diagnoses will come. Many things we have to see if you are not getting menses even after tablet. So that we have to see. That is a different scenario again. So this is what I will advise. Why the 3 months period? Because thickness will be more, and that is why, to avoid the cancer risk in long term, that is why we are avoiding that. Okay, so what is the treatment of heavy hair growth, madam? Okay, this treatment is like depending on how the thickness of the hair is. So if it is very light, and only like if seeing close, then you can either trim it, or just don't touch anything if it is not troubling you, because the more you take, the more it will get thickened and more pigmentation will come. Then I'll suggest reduce your weight. Automatically all those pigmentation and hair growth will come down, because that are all responsible due to the male hormones, which is normally male hormones will also be seen in females also, but it will be in the very limited, very small quantity. But in case of PCOS, it is slightly increased, so that has the effect of having excess facial hair growth, like mustache region, and in this chin region, all those things where you can have hair follicles. And some people even have temporal baldness. They will be having male pattern baldness, like this type of baldness may come for certain females. So that is also due to this PCOS. So if you reduce your weight, automatically the hormones levels also will come down, and we can manage it. And there are some medications to reduce the hormones level, but it is like an added thing. Like if you are reducing weight, it will work properly. If you are not reducing weight, that will remain like a temporary situation only. And as I said, that you have to consult again. There are some drugs to stop the excess hair growth, but it has effect on the ovulation, so that is why we will hesitate to give when you are trying to conceive. So in that case, you can go for, if you are trying to conceive, you can go for a trimming, all those things for temporary situations. Then you can go and consult a dermatologist or cosmetologist to undergo a laser thing. That is following your pregnancy, everything you can go later on, not now. So this is a problem when we face more hair growth. The medications what we prescribe will not be giving you will reduce the ovulation, will prevent the ovulation. So like oral contraceptives, that is what we will be giving in case of heavy hair growth. So anything else? Somebody has asked me to tell in Tamil. Shall I tell in Tamil all those things what I have told? What what are the long-term risks which I have already discussed? That is risk of diabetes, risk of cardiac disease, and obesity. So these are the things that are the long-term disease that you can get, and are also other malignancies like ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer. These are all malignancies that you can get in long term if you are not taking a proper measure for PCOS. It all depends on severity. Not all PCOS will respond the same way to the same medication. So it is different from each person to person, as we are having the blood groups that is different from person to person. So that way it changes. Anything else? In case of treatment for prolonged heavy bleeding in PCOS, what we'll tell is, so again there is breakthrough bleeding that can happen in PCOS. So in those cases we'll help you to stabilize the hormone level by prescribing you an oral contraceptive pills, and followed by to control your bleeding, we'll be giving you some medications to reduce the bleeding during each cycle. Thereby we can follow it up. Once the hormone levels begins to fall down and comes in a balance, then automatically your periods will get regularized and the amount of bleeding will be normal. But in case of we should not just thinking okay, it's PCOS and so that is why you are having prolonged heavy bleeding. Heavy bleeding can be due to many other causes, because PCOS can be associated with adenomyosis, can be associated with fibroid. So and that also we have to be ruled out, and even thyroid disease, that also to be excluded before we say only PCOS is a cause for your heavy bleeding. Then anything else you want to ask? One person has asked me this one about an antenatal. Okay, one more question I've got. What is hormone imbalance? Okay, the nice question. Okay, there is something called, for a female, we'll say estrogen. Estrogen is the one which gives shine to the skin and makes skin growing for be healthy and healthy for this age. Because when you say old, when you see the old age women, the skin will be changed and become wrinkly, all those things. That all because why it is not happening in the young age is because we have estrogen constantly getting produced from our fat. Most first sources are ovaries, then our fat, everything from where all that is coming. That estrogen helps everywhere in everything, even for good heart function. Estrogen is very important for female. So what happens in case of PCOS, that estrogen and one more hormone is that progesterone, that both will be produced from the ovaries. So what happens is in PCOS there will be imbalance, like imbalance in the sense when the follicle is growing, the estrogen will be rising up, then it will fall down. So when estrogen is falling down, progesterone will be more. So it is like an opposite thing. So it has to happen simultaneously in each month during each menstrual cycle. But this is not happening in case of an PCOS. And at the same time, there are certain hormones that has to be produced from our brain to activate the ovaries to produce a follicle. That is what we say is a follicle stimulating hormone, FSH will tell, and luteinizing hormone, that is LH will tell. Both has to be secreted from the brain, and it will be transported to our ovary via blood. So that happens, all those things should be synchronized. That has to be synchronized. That should happen simultaneously. Should be in wave balance. One goes high, one goes low. One goes high, one goes low. So that is not happening in case of PCOS. That is what I am terming it as a hormone imbalance. So that's what. Anything else? So shall I get back to that antenatal question somebody has asked me? Okay, my Yashwant question. Dear doctor, my wife has 13 weeks pregnant. Is it safe to lie down or sleep, since she couldn't be able to sit or sleep on floor? She also has PCOS. I'm not clear with the question, Yashwant, but still what I understood is you're asking whether she can lie down on the floor and sleep. Is it, am I right? So there is no risk with the PCOS. I told you there is a early pregnancy risk is there, but you have crossed that period. Your wife is 13 weeks plus, so I think she's doing well right now. All I can tell you is if she's having pain to sit on the floor or sleep on the floor, don't let her sleep on the floor. That's what we can do right now. Where is the pain, that you have to tell me. And it is safe to lie down in the floor and sit in the floor, so nothing is required. She can be normal if she doesn't have any other risk factor like diabetes or something. And I hope you have done the NT scan at 13 weeks. Hope it is normal. So let me know in case you have doubt. Okay. Okay. So one more question I have asked: which is better, cyproton acetate, myoinositol combination, or OCP for treatment? In which case metformin should add? Please answer with those, madam. Hi Fatima, she is my junior. Sorry. Okay. Cyproton acetate and myoinositol. Cyproton acetate only I prescribe during when there is a severe hyperandrogenism, that is very high levels of excess male hormones, apart from excluding the congenital adrenal hyperplasia. And myoinositol combination also when we have such scenario, and myoinositol combination with the OCP that I give for even normal patients when they are having high LH, those cases I give that. And OCP, what generally I prescribe is oral levonorgestrel combination that I generally prescribe. Most of them doesn't have any problem with that, not much of side effects. So metformin we can give minimum 1.5 to 2 grams per day. But when you are starting metformin, you prescribe in a stepwise manner, because patient will have nausea and gastritis kind of symptoms when we start with high dose initially. So what we do is we can start from OD for 1 week and BD for another week. Then you can add make it as 3 times a day, 500 mg metformin, that you can continue. Still, if the patient is having some difficulty, then you can go for sustained release, that will help. So you have to counsel the patient when you are starting such medication, because that will cause very different they will feel very offended or disturbed because of taking the treatment. So I have answered your question, I think, Fatima. Okay, one more. Yamini Yashwant, 13 weeks pregnant, I have urine infection, stomach pain, constipation problem, suffering from lot of issues with this past 10 days. So please suggest some medicines. Okay. Yamini, urine infection, how did you find out? Did you do any urine test, or what symptom are you having? And stomach pain in early pregnancy, that is common, but you are having more stomach pain, please visit a hospital and get an injection. And constipation, you can take syrup Duflac 10 ml to 15 ml in the night once a day, or alternate day you try, because to avoid the constipation initially. But to avoid the constipation, because constipation will be there all through our pregnancy because of the progesterone hormone, so you have to drink lot of water per day. You have to drink 3 to 4 liters of water. It is very difficult to drink, I totally agree, but still, if you drink, even if your urine infection will go off, your stomach pain you will be relieved from the stomach pain, and constipation will not be there. And if you are having constipation throughout your pregnancy, you may end up having bleeding from your rectum or anus later on. So please take care. Don't just take lightly that constipation problem. Drink lot of water and high fiber diet, that is having more and more of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables or cooked vegetables. Don't mash it and do you can eat cooked vegetables and spinach. All those things will help you. Don't take this constipation problem lightly, and if you're having urine infection, please get evaluated for that, and then take proper antibiotic, because I just like that I cannot give antibiotic, so please do that. Then anything okay, and now I'm going to tell whatever I have told in a summary way in Tamil. Please, people who don't understand Tamil, apologize. I mean asking for an apology. Okay, I'm going to talk in Tamil right now. Okay, ஸோ பிசிஓஎஸ்னால் என்னென்னு அவங்களுக்கு சொல்லியிருக்கேன். அதான் நீர்க்கட்டி ப்ராப்ளம் சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த நீர்க்கட்டி ப்ராப்ளம்னால நீங்கள் கன்சீவ் ஆக முடியாது, என் ஒய்ஃப் கன்சீவ் ஆக மாட்டா, நீர்க்கட்டி ப்ராப்ளம் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. ப்ளீஸ் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் வாங்க, நான் அதை பற்றி எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுறேன். அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை, உங்களுக்கும் நல்ல ஒரு சான்ஸ் இருக்குது கன்சீவ் ஆகிறதுக்கு. ஸோ அதனால் அதெல்லாம் ஒரு நம்பிக்கைன்னு நினச்சிக்காதீங்க. வராது அப்படின்னு சொல்லாதீங்க ப்ளீஸ். அண்ட் வந்து ஏன் பிசிஓஎஸ் நீர்க்கட்டி ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு கன்சீவ் ஆக முடியல அப்படின்னா, அதாவது வந்து நம்ம உடம்புல பெண்களுக்கான வந்து ஹார்மோன்ஸ்ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். அது வந்து நமக்கு மேலே கீழே அப்படி மாதம் மாறி மாறி வரும். ஆனால் பிசிஓஎஸ் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இல்லாத பட்சத்தில் அவங்களுக்கு மாதமாக ஒரு முட்டை வந்து வெடிச்சு வர்றது இருக்க மாட்டேங்குது. அப்படி இல்லாத போது அவங்களுக்கு கன்சீவ் ஆகிறது லேட் ஆகுது. ஆனால் அவங்களுக்கு ஆகுது. ஆனால் அந்த பீரியட்ஸ் வர்றதுக்கும் அவங்க கருமுட்டை வளர்ச்சிக்கும் ஒரு ஒத்து போல. அதனால தான் அவங்களால கன்சீவ் ஆக முடியல, அதனால தான் லேட் ஆகுது. ஸோ அதனால அவங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் பண்ணி அதை சரி பண்ணிக்கிட்டா அவங்களுக்கு சரியாயிடும். ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்னா நான் வந்து எதுவும் ஆப்ரேஷன் பண்ண போறதில்ல. அவங்களுக்கு நான் வந்து இந்த டேல உங்களுக்கு இதை மாதிரி இருக்கு, ஸோ அதனால உங்களுக்கு இது பண்ணா சரியா இருக்கும் அப்படிங்கிறத சொல்ல தான் போறேன், வேற எதுவும் பண்ண மாட்டேன். ஸோ அது ஒன்று. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து இந்த பிசிஓஎஸ் ஏன் எனக்கு வந்துச்சு அப்படின்னு கேட்டால் அதுக்கு காரணம் இல்லை. ஏன்னா வந்து இப்போதைக்கு குழந்தையின்மை காரணமாக இருக்கிறவங்களே 70% இந்த பிசிஓஎஸ் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு. ஆனால் அதில் 45% மேலே அவங்கள 45% மேலேயே அவங்க நல்லா கன்சீவ் ஆயிடுறாங்க. ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் வந்தால் நாங்கள் சொல்கிறத ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும், அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணால் அவங்க கன்சீவ் ஆகிடுவாங்க. அதனால பிசிஓஎஸ் இருந்தால், நீர்க்கட்டி இருந்தால் கன்சீவ் ஆக மாட்டாங்கன்னு நினைக்காதீங்க, கன்சீவ் ஆகுவீங்க. அதில் இன்னொரு ப்ராப்ளம் என்ன, சில பேருக்கு வந்து அந்த முடி வளர்ச்சி ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கும், அந்த புருவம் ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கும், இல்லைன்னா மீசை வளர்ச்சினால அவங்க ட்ரிம் பண்ணுறது, முடி எடுக்கிறது, இல்லைன்னா தாடி வளர்ச்சி இருக்கிறது, இல்லைன்னா வயிறில் நிறைய முடி வளர்ச்சி, அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருக்கிறது வந்து இந்த நீர்க்கட்டினால வரக்கூடியது தான். ஆனால் அதை குணப்படுத்தலாம். இந்த வெயிட்டு நீங்கள் அது கூட அதிகமாக ஆக இதோட சிம்டம்ஸ் எல்லாம், அதாவது நீர்க்கட்டியோட சிம்டம் அவங்களுக்கு வர தொந்தரவு எல்லாம் அதிகமாகிக்கிட்டே போகும். அதனால தான் கவனம் நம்மளோட வெயிட்டில் தான் இருக்கணும். வெயிட்டை குறைக்கணும். வெயிட்டை குறைக்கிறது எப்படி அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் கேட்டிங்கன்னா 3 விதம் நான் சொல்லுவேன். சரியா? ஃபஸ்ட்டு திங், தியானம் பண்ணுறது, மெடிடேஷன். அது வந்து ரொம்ப 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 முக்கியம். இன்னும் சில பேர் வந்து யோகாலாம் பண்ணுறீங்கன்னா அது ரொம்ப நல்லது, ஸ்டாப் பண்ண வேண்டாம், அதை கண்டினியூ பண்ணுங்க. அது இல்லாமல் இன்னொன்று வந்து டயட் பிளான்னா எதுக்கு அப்படின்னா, நம்ம உடம்புல சாப்பிட்ற சாப்பாடுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து சில வேல்யூ இருக்கு. லைக் வந்து ஒரு இட்லி சாப்பிட்டா இவ்வளோ கேலரி, ஒரு தோசை சாப்பிட்டா இவ்வளோ கேலரி அப்படின்லாம் சொல்லுவோம். அந்த மாதிரி இதில் நம்ம சுற்றி சாப்பிட்றதே வந்து ஒரு கார்போஹைட்ரேட்ஸாக சாப்பிட்றோம். அதாவது அதுவும் ஒரு டைப் ஆஃப் சுகர் தான். ஸோ நம்ம காஃபியில் நான் சுகர் கட் பண்ணிட்டேன், நான் டீயில் சுகர் கட் பண்ணிட்டேன், ஸ்டில் நான் வெயிட் குறையல அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்கன்னா அது கிடையாது. அது மட்டும் பத்தாது. அது கூட சேர்ந்து சிலது உடற்பயிற்சி வேணும். அப்புறம் வந்து நமக்கு இப்போ வந்து தண்ணி சத்து உள்ள ஆகாரங்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த வேறு ரூட் வெஜிடபிள்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதெல்லாம் வந்து கம்மியாக சாப்பிடலாம். அதுக்கு இல்லாமல் அப்புறம் கீரை வகைகள் அதிகமாக சாப்பிடலாம். அந்த பட்டாணி, அந்த குதிரவாளி அப்படிலாம் நிறைய சொல்லுவாங்க, அதெல்லாம் சாப்பிடலாம். அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப நல்லது. அதாவது வந்து சாப்பிட்றதுல இப்போ வந்து காலையில் 4 இட்லி சாப்பிட்டா அதுக்கு பதிலாக இப்போ வந்து 2 இட்லி சாப்பிட்டு 11 மணி போல் ஒரு பழம் சாப்பிடலாம். லைக் ஆரஞ்சு, இல்லைன்னா ஒரு ஆப்பிளில் இருக்கிற ஸ்வீட்னஸ் ஓகே, அது நேச்சுரல் ஸ்வீட், அது அலவுட், அது நல்லது. ஆனால் அது கூட வந்து அளவாக சாப்பிடணும். இப்போ வந்து வாழைப்பழம்லாம் சாப்பிட்றோன்னா ஒரு 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 வாழைப்பழம் இல்லை 2 வாழைப்பழம் சாப்பிட்றது ஒரு ஃபுல் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் சாப்பிட்றதுக்கான கலோரி அளவு. ஸோ அதை மாதிரி ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் பண்ணி சாப்பிட்ணும். அதே டைமில் அதிகமாக சாப்பிடாம கரெக்டாக சாப்பிட்ணும். அதுதான் ரொம்ப முக்கியம். அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து பட்டாணினா என்ன? பட்டாணினா ஓகே ஆமாம் பீஸ், சாரி பட்டாணினா பீஸ், நானே தாட் பிளாக் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஓகே பட்டாணினா பீஸ் சாப்பிட்றது தான் பட்டாணி. அதெல்லாம் சாப்பிடலாம். ஓகே, இன்னொருத்தவங்க கேட்டது வந்து PCOS or PCOD is there any risk of spontaneous? ஆமாம், அதுதான் நான் சொன்னது ஏர்லி ப்ரெக்னென்சி லாஸ். அதாவது வந்து ஏர்லி ப்ரெக்னென்சி லாஸ்னா 13 வாரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி உள்ளவங்களுக்கான அபார்ஷன் ரிஸ்க் வந்து கொஞ்சம் அதிகம் இந்த PCOSல. ஏன்னா கரு தங்குற இடத்துல நமக்கு வந்து சில ஜீன் எக்ஸ்பிரஷன், அதாவது வந்து இது கரு தங்குற இடம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அந்த கருவுக்கு ஒரு சிக்னல் வரும். அந்த இடத்துல வந்து நமக்கு அதெல்லாம் கரெக்டாக அந்த கரு உள்ளே வரப்போ நமக்கு தங்குறதுக்கான பாசிபிலிட்டிஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கணும். அது இல்லை அப்படின்னா நமக்கு அந்த கரு தங்குறதுல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ராப்ளம் வரும். சப்போஸ் கரு தங்குறதுல இருந்தால் கூட அந்த கருவுக்கான ரத்த ஓட்டத்தில் ப்ராப்ளம் வரலாம். இதனால் வந்து கரு வளராம அப்படியே அபார்ஷன் ஆகிறதுக்கு ரிஸ்க் இருக்கு. இதெல்லாம் சில ரிஸ்க். இதுக்கெல்லாம் கூட மெட்ஃபார்மின் வந்து ஹெல்ப் பண்ணும். அதனால மெட்ஃபார்மின் எடுத்துக்கிட்டா நீங்க வந்து தப்பா நினைச்சுக்காதீங்க. லைக் உங்களுக்கு சுகர் இருக்கனால தான் கொடுக்குறாங்க, எனக்கு சுகர் நார்மலாக தான் இருக்கு டாக்டர் ஆனால் எனக்கு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டா இதெல்லாம் இது மெட்ஃபார்மின் வந்து இந்த விதத்துலலாம் உங்களுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணும். அதனால தான் அது வந்து அடிஷ்னலாக கொடுக்குறாங்க. மற்றபடி அது உங்களுக்கு சுகர் இருக்கிறதுக்காக இல்லைன்றதுக்காக எதுக்கோ சும்மா கொடுக்கறது அப்படி கிடையாது. அதில் சில அட்வான்டேஜ் இருக்கு. அதனால அதை எடுத்துக்கிறது நல்லது. ஓகே, வேற ஏதாவது கேட்கணுமா? Kavita Shantakumar, ma'am, I'm a 31-year-old suffering from PCOS. Last period was 3 months ago. Please suggest me a tablet. கவிதா, நீங்கள் ஒரு தடவை அல்ட்ராசவுண்ட் எப்போ பார்த்துருக்கீங்க? கடைசியாக அல்ட்ராசவுண்ட் எப்போ பார்த்தது? நீங்கள் வந்து ப்ரொஜெஸ்ட்ரான் டேப்லெட் எடுத்துக்கலாம். டேப்லெட் நேம் வந்து இப்படி நான் சொல்ல முடியாது. நீங்கள் எனக்கு பர்சனலாக காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணுங்கள். நான் என்னோடய காண்டாக்ட் டீட்டெயில்ஸ் இந்த செஷன் முடிகிறப்போ நான் போட்டு விட்றேன். நீங்கள் காண்டாக்ட் பண்ணலாம். நான் அப்போ உங்களுக்கு சொல்கிறேன். சரி, வேறு ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்கா? ஏதாவது கொஷின்ஸ் ஏதாவது கேட்கணுமா? இப்போ நான் தமிழில் சொன்னதில் ஏதாவது இன்னும் ஏதாவது சந்தேகங்கள் இருக்கா? சரி, இதோட இப்போ முடிச்சுக்கலாமா? ஓகே, சரி. Okay, thank you. It was a very good session. I hope I have done some useful, I have given some useful things, knowledge about the PCOS. I hope so. You have understood everything, and you can still text me individually if you want to. I'll leave my contact in this. Then anything else you want to ask me? வேற ஏதாவது என்னத்தை கேட்கணுமா PCOS பத்தி? எப்போ வேணாலும் கேட்கலாம். என் நம்பர் இதில் கொடுக்குறேன், மெயில் ஐடி கொடுக்குறேன். ஸோ எனக்கு பண்ணலாம். நான் வந்து சென்னையிலையும் வெள்ளூர்லேயும் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணுறேன். ஐம் கம்மிங் ஆஸ் அ கன்சல்டன்ட் இன் வெள்ளூர் ஸ்ரீ நாராயணி, and I'm also from Chennai, so I'm practicing in Chennai also. So you can contact me any place whichever you are comfortable. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Fatima. Okay. Good. டேக் கேர். எல்லாருக்கும் கோவிட் டைமில் இந்த கொரோனா ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்குது. ஸோ அதனால் எல்லோரும் முகக்கவசம் அணிஞ்சிருங்க. வேக்சின் போடலைன்னா போட்டுக்கோங்க. பெரியவங்களை ஜாக்கிரதையாக பார்த்துக்கோங்க. நீங்களும் ஜாக்கிரதையாக இருங்க. அவசியம் நான் மட்டும் வெளியில் வாங்க, இல்லைனா வராதிங்க. ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்டுக்கு அவசியம்னா மட்டும்தான் வரணும், இல்லைனா வெளியில் வராதிங்க. ஏன்னா நீங்கள் பத்திரமா இருக்கிறதுல நாங்களும் பத்திரமா இருப்போம், அதுக்காக சொல்கிறேன். அண்ட் everybody be safe, since there is rise, very abundant rise in COVID cases. All of you please be safe. It is very heart aching situation that we are seeing. I'm in Chennai, so I'm seeing all those things. People in ambulance staying outside the hospital compound, not getting beds, not getting oxygen support. Many of them are dying. It is a real truth. Please follow the safety measures and try to get vaccinated and be safe. Okay, I hope so. I'm signing off now. Take care, be safe. Bye. Thank you.